Hi everyone! I just wanted to pop on here really quickly to give you some strategies on organizing your code. In my personal experience, organizing my code has narrowed down to really just 3 things. 1, filing, 2, commenting, and 3, spacing. I'm going to show you in this tutorial how I do this. So first, I'm going to pop on to one of my favorite apps to code, which is Visual Code Studio. I'm going to open a new file. And then I'm going to save it as. This is something that's very important. Number 1, which goes into filing, is to put it in the right place. So first thing that I always do is I go to File, Save As. Now for this, just because it's a tutorial, I'm just going to save it to my desktop, but I'm going to call it coding.py because I'm making a Python document. So basically, to comment, which is I normally use comments and spaces to space out my code, you're going to have to use a hashtag and then whatever we're going to write. This is a comment. The biggest difference between this and like my HTML and CSS and JavaScript examples is that in Python you can't have multi-line comments, so therefore you're going to have to do this for every single line of code. So, you know how to code in Python, but what if you're using things that might have to involve multiple different files? That's exactly what we're going to get to next. So, back in Visual Code Studio, let's say if you're working on a website and you're using HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. You're going to create, so first thing I do is I create a new file, do File, Save As, and this is probably the most important part. File, Save As. I'm going to save this in a new folder, so then we can have all of our code together. I'm just going to name this Practice. So then I'm going to name this practice.html. So I have this file, but also when I go to make my file for my JavaScript, I will save this as practice.javascript, which is in the same folder, but let's say I'm going back to my desktop. I would just add it to that folder. So then all of my files in one place, which makes it so much easier to access. And you don't have files all willy-nilly, just save all the names. And then I'll just do the same for my, that's not true. I'm going to do the same for my CSS file. And this just ensures that everything is in one place all together. And also, if you're doing more complex code, I'll just show you right now in my desktop. Sometimes I put in a separate file if I have multiple JavaScript files. But for this example, I'm just going to keep them all in one place. Okay, I'm back with my original files. I didn't show you me coding because I think that would take too long. But either way, I'm going to start talking about my HTML. So this symbol right here is your comment symbol. And I'll basically do a practice one right here. So this you can do multi-line comments in addition to one comment. And I always like to space out my code. So I put this comment here that says this is a font from Google in case someone needs to find it out. And I normally love to use Google Fonts. If I want to use a separate font, I'll put a link in the description below. And then I also linked my CSS file, and it makes it really easy because they're in the same file. So I can just write organizing. Well, that's not practice.css. And then I also put another comment here, and I also put my script here. I normally like to put my scripts in the bottom of the body, just because some things need to load. So that's personally something that I like to use. And notice how I can the same thing for the practice CSS here. I put there because they're both in the same file. So that's what it looks like So that's what a comment looks like in HTML. And this is what a comment looks like in CSS. If you'll notice, if I jump back, it's the same way that you would do a long comment in JavaScript, which is very helpful. And then in JavaScript, lastly, a short comment, which can only be one line, is the 2 slashes up here. And I just basically use that when I declared my function to say, like, this changes the background color, so you know kind of what that function does. So I'll show you how all of these works together seamlessly. So basically, I just wanted to show you the ease of how everything works right now. So all my files are in one location, so it's easy for me to just do this, and then it changes my screen. And as you saw, my function was supposed to do that, and it did it. And it was easy for someone else who was going to come into my code to see the work I did to get this to happen. I know this video is a little short, but I just wanted to really show you how to comment and add some spacing to your code, and really where to add comments, just so you have a better basis on keeping your code organized and keeping yourself organized. So thank you. Come back if you want to see more videos. I hope this was helpful. Have a wonderful day no matter where you are.